It was the Mark and Marco show. Chapman for the New Zealand team, and it was Marco Jansen who picked up 4 wickets. 175 only on a pitch like this. Is that the correct word to use? Yes, 176 to chase for South Africa to win this big game in Ahmedabad against the Kiwis. Chapman headlining this batting performance with 48, Mitchell 32. Finn Allen as well. Not the kind of performance we expected from the Kiwis, or was it inexplicable, wasn't it, DK?
First of all, clap. I'm the only one who's got 1 point. They've come to 175. I said 184. 10 runs, right?
No, 5.
You start talking something about the match.
This is exactly what's happened to New Zealand today.
Yeah. I think so. They wanted 200, but they've got 175.
Is exasperating the right word to use for the Kiwis? Or their fans, rather.
Exasperating. I don't know if I'd use that word.
Frustrating.
Why? Because they've got a good score. They're a decent score. They could have got a lot more, but that always happens in T20, right? When you almost feel like you can get a tall score, but then 1 wicket almost derails it. And it's happened a few times this World Cup itself.
Yep.
In the afternoon game we saw, a couple of days ago in a previous game it did happen. So it is something that will happen in this format, interestingly, because the toughest thing for a new batter is to try and understand and adapt, whether to keep up with the momentum or take a back seat, play a few balls and then launch. And in trying to do that, when you decide to launch, when you get out, you put more pressure on the next batter coming in. So it's always a very tough, tricky one for any middle order batsman. And
increasingly, you see teams sort of wanting to keep going for it.
That's what's also happened because the average score of T20s has increased. Yep. So from becoming a 140, 170 game, it's become a 170, 180, 200 game. So what's happened as a result is the time that batters could take before, they could take those 3 balls, 4 balls, 5 balls. Now they think even that is way too much. So they feel the pressure of almost going immediately. And I think this New Zealand team, he's absolutely right. Had they lost a couple of wickets less, 1 wicket here, 1 wicket there, they could have reached 190.
Yep.
Had they lost a couple of wickets early, they would have ended up at 145, 150, 160. That's the reality of it now. And teams play this template.
58 for 3 in the power play. At the 10 over mark, they had lost 4 wickets and they had 92 on the board. Thereafter, they did try to resurrect the innings, but it was a bit of an up and down kind of performance from New Zealand. This innings and how it's progressed, DK, is it further reinforcing why teams do and why teams should look to bat deep? 8, 9, 10 batters going forward, because that is the only way you'll give yourselves a license to keep going for it, right?
You can't have 10 batters. That's very tough to achieve, I can tell you that, because that means you're literally going with not too many bowlers.
No, I mean,
what you want to do, all-rounders as well.
Yeah.
When I say batters, I'm not saying pure batters, all-rounders as well. It's very hard. They are the most rare commodity in the market, good all-rounders. You can get a bowler who can hold the bat a bit, which is what Matt Henry is. But to get somebody who can come and make a difference with the bat consistently, batting at 9 and 10 is very hard to achieve. Then you somewhere compromise on the bowling.
Yeah.
Because if you start thinking that, okay, when there are 2 bowlers to choose, you choose a guy who has who can bat better, and you compromise on the bowling quality, that comes back to haunt you in a different way as well. But the threshold is up to number 8. You want good batting till 8. 9 should be able to obviously hit a few balls if possible. 10 and 11, if they can't, that's understandable. That's almost what you're trying to achieve, but it doesn't happen always that way. Even India, I think we bat till 8. 9, 10, 11 is a bit of a hit or miss.
Yeah.
So that's how you can have a team. It's very hard to have, proper batters. And New Zealand, it wasn't a question of they didn't have depth in batting. I think when they lost a wicket, they lost 2 immediately. So that put pressure on them. Losing 3 in the power play. Then a lovely partnership between Mark Chapman and Darren Mitchell. But have a look at that. 1 wicket fell, which was Chapman. Soon after, Mitchell and Santner got out.
Yeah.
That doesn't help.
Just to paraphrase, or rather rephrase what I said to what I asked DK, having Neesham coming in at 8 or perhaps allowed the other batters to be a little bit more adventurous.
Yeah, look, this is their game plan. They probably have looked at it, looked at the surface, and that we need to get at least 180 to 200 to win. They've probably told themselves that and said, okay, we have set ourselves up. So even if they've lost 3 wickets in the power play, they've kept that momentum. They've kept a certain run rate going. Yeah. And they would have reached there had, say, for example, Chapman not got out when he did, a couple of wickets, Santner going early.
Yeah.
Immediately, that is like basically reached them where they are. But 175, I still think is a very competitive score given the bowling attack they have.
Given that this is a fast evolving format in terms of how teams look at it, I saw Abhishek Sharma talk to our very own Gaurav Kapoor on his show, and Abhishek talked about how Pat Cummins, as captain of SRH, told the team that I want to see all of you hit. I don't want to see a 140, 150 score. It's okay if you get out at 100, 120. Is that going to be the philosophy increasingly for more and more teams in this format?
It's not as black and white as that.
Sure.
I feel there needs to be a little bit of maturity and responsibility, not reckless. Now, that is the toughest line to draw between being very positive and reckless, where you draw that line. And more often than not, the result decides it. What I mean by that is when you get all out, quickly you're thinking, should we have done that? So you need to always fall on the side of being very positive than reckless a lot of the times. That's when you achieve total. Certain pitches, you can't keep hit. It doesn't, it's not as simple as that. So you have to be measured. You have to understand what the bowler is doing. How do you put pressure back on him? These are the questions you need to ask if you're a batter batting wherever in the batting line. So you need to understand what you're trying to achieve on that pitch. Sometimes 160 is a good score. Sometimes 250 is not a great score.
Sure.
So if tomorrow, if India versus Pakistan, just to go there, if India thinks that 200 is a good score in Colombo, that may not be the case. It may be a 160, 170 pitch.
Yeah.
So the way you'll approach it will also depend on the pitch, the situation, as in the tournament situation. What do I need out of this?
Yeah.
Can I afford a draw? Can I afford a win? There are lots of factors that go into it.
And the approach would be different if it's a knockout game as well, right?
Yeah.
Be a
So
bit more circumspect.
Correct. Look at this match. Here they know, the Kiwis know that this is for, it's literally for, there's no impact that this game is going to have. Both these teams are going to go through.
Sure.
Unless they lose they're unlikely to lose to the minnows, given the kind of teams that they are. So it's just, this is for pecking order. This is for, boasting.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm the top of the group, because it makes no difference. The groups are also already organized.
Yeah. Marco Jansen for South Africa, 4 overs, 40 for 4. And it was almost like he was showing off all the weapons in his arsenal, DK. He tried everything today and most of it worked.
Improved bowler in this format. He came in as someone who can bowl really well with the new ball, but today I think he is able to bowl across phases with the new ball, gets it to swing, also as a sharp bouncer. But what he's added to his arsenal is what you were showing me on TV, the carom ball and the off cutter, which he started to execute really well. As a bowler, especially as a left-armer, if you're able to get those two balls going your way, it's very hard as a right-hander to line you up. So I feel he's improved quite a bit, and the way he is bowling bodes very well for South Africa in this tournament.
Kesam Maharaj bowled the 3 overs. Is there much different that South Africa could have done? They used 6 bowlers, but Markram bowled just the 1 over that cost them 15.
Yeah, Markram bowled the 1 over, they cost them 15. They just wanted to check him out, left-hander bat, they wanted to see how it's going. But the truth of it is that this is how they line up. I thought Corbin Bosch has come in and done very well for them today, 4 for 34, because I thought Linde had leaked runs for them in the previous match. Jansen has got wickets, been expensive, but look, Jansen got the important wickets up in the power play. He got those 3 wickets.
Yeah.
And that's what ensured that, New Zealand didn't get off to a flyer, because their intent was very clear from the very start. I thought Rabada today bowled well. Given what he's been bowling previously, I thought he bowled really well today. And I think this has been a really, with a New Zealand side going all out with very little to lose, okay, because really this match is immaterial. It's only about who comes first, who comes second in this group. I think the South Africans have bowled well.
Discipline was a key element, wasn't it? I mean, the 2 pacers in Gedi and Rabada, between the 2 of them gave away less than 8 in over in their 8 overs collectively. So they were on point, hardly any extras. In fact, I can just see just 1 leg by. No other freebies on offer from them.
Experienced bowlers, both of them. And they used the conditions quite nicely. Didn't give away anything easy against a very fiery opening combination in Seifert and Finn Allen, who are in red-hot form. They hit the length, kept it nothing close to the batter or nothing free. In fact, I felt Ngidi gave a bit of width at the start when we were watching, but soon after he kind of narrowed it down and made sure that he didn't give away anything easy. Both those bowlers, very experienced, very important bowlers for South Africa. Ngidi, the better bowler today in terms of how he bowls at the death, but Rabada genuinely the most talented and one of the better bowlers going around the world of cricket. I really feel when I've played Rabada, it's that extra bounce and kick that he gets that troubles you a lot. And he's got a very short run-up, so it almost feels like it's not as quick as it, but comes and hits the bat nice and quick. So a terrific bowler to have. Interesting
stat on Cricbuzz's text commentary section. South Africa seamers took pace off of 59.7 deliveries in the game against Afghanistan, and they picked up 4 for 48. Is that the way to go for the New Zealanders in the second innings? Is because if there's not much happening, you'll have to try different weapons, right?
The key for New Zealand right now is to see how much dew is there. If there is a bit of dew, then even if you slow it down, it comes onto the bat nicely, then you might have to go a lot more hard length or Yorker. So understanding how much dew is there will determine what you want to do. This pitch obviously felt like it's better for the pacers to bowl because the spinners were going for runs unless you have real skill. So Santner will have a job to do. It'll be interesting to see what Glenn Phillips can provide them.
Yep.
But I wouldn't be surprised if Jimmy Neesham bowls a bit more than Glenn Phillips.
At the halfway mark, you reckon South Africa will fancy their chances? Is it 60-40 or could it be much closer than we think it is?
Look, I don't think this is an easy pitch to get 175 on. And I didn't see, from whatever we could see in the first half, there didn't look to be that much dew right now. There didn't seem to be dew. Maybe I have not seen it this, but you didn't see the rollers going around in it. There is dew?
Yep, there is.
Okay, if there is dew, then he's absolutely right. Then it's going to be difficult for... And Sant is a very clever bowler, but let's see what angles he uses because,
How do you stir the pot? If you are New Zealand, how would you go about using your bowling resources to give yourself a chance?
So if you look at their bowling, there's Duffy and Matt Henry. Matt Henry is very key because he can get you early wickets. He hits the seam hard, gets the ball to move away from the pitch. At the same time, Jacob Duffy has been their best bowler for some time now. He's able to bowl well at the death. Lockie Ferguson, just sheer pace and a good change of pace as well. The key is going to be how the spinners bowl. But for me, I would say 60-40 is a very fair way to look at it right now. South Africa in the driver's seat, they should back themselves to get the score down.
Okay, just enough time for us to get your predictions. Power play.
51.
60.
44.
Wow.
Enjoy the power play, in fact the first 10, and then we'll see you again with Dinesh Karthik on Cricbuzz Box. Bye-bye.